Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Pat from Like Attracts Like Mentorships. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what it might mean when you are bored. We've all been there. You're sitting around. There's nothing to do. You have this urge, this impulse to do something, but you can't quite figure out what it is. Today we're going to talk about what that might be, what it might be actually telling or suggesting to you, and some things that you can actually implement to see if maybe nothing is the thing you're supposed to be doing. Stick around. We're diving in deep when we come back. Just a quick note here before we get started into the video. The applications for the 6-week healing and transformational one-on-one mentorship program with me is open. There is a link wherever you are watching this. You can click that link and learn a little bit more about it if it's something you feel called to. All right, so you've been feeling bored, feeling like there's nothing to do or that you don't know what to do. You don't know what is driving you. What is the next thing I'm supposed to do? I keep searching for the big thing to do to get me out of this funk and get me out of this boredom, but I can't find it. I don't know what it is, so I just sit here. So I'm going to share with you 2 stories that I think could shed some light on what's actually happening when this feeling comes in. The first story is the story of a person who is working very, very hard, just diligently, constantly contributing, going out of their way to serve and service humanity or serve their job or help themselves, help their family, provide, just constantly maybe achieving. Maybe you're an overachiever. Maybe you're just constantly getting results. You're just in it. You are literally getting up every single day and you're driving forward to the best that you can, doing whatever you think you can to get further along or further ahead in your goals. And then now those tasks end, that specific agenda ends, the spreadsheet's done and you finally have a day off and you're sitting there and with nothing specific to do, your brain is searching and searching and searching and looking around. And what does it say to you? Your brain says, you're bored. I'm bored. I got to do something, but I don't know what to do. What do I got to do today? I have nothing to do today. I got to find something to do. And then it continues to search and tell you how bored you are. And that boredom is trying to drive you forward to what? To find something to do what? To occupy your time and your energy, your attention to something. So the first part that could be coming up if boredom is striking you, but you've constantly been working really, really hard and haven't had a day off and you really don't let yourself have a day off. So anytime you feel downtime, boredom comes in and you're constantly searching, you might have a story that says that you're not valuable unless you're contributing. You're not valuable unless you are doing something for someone. You're not valuable unless you, or that it's bad to have this downtime. It's bad to rest. It's bad to take care of yourself. It's selfish. What are you doing? You have downtime. You're off today. No days off for you. You got to do this and you got to do that. You got to do this. It could very well be that the ego has created a story in your mind based on previous events or your perception of other people or certain expectations that have always been placed on you, that you have a story that says it's not okay if you rest. And to justify that story, you could even come up with something that said like people who rest or take time to themselves are lazy. They're complacent. They don't serve. They don't contribute. They're, like, that's not me. I am this and blah, 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 blah. Like the ego could really posture and think that someone who constantly works and never takes a second for themselves is glorified in some way. And the truth is that that is a story for someone who doesn't feel valuable when they're not working. They can't be alone. They can't rest and recover. Even the creation story in the Bible, God took a day off to reflect and look at everything. And that this example of what this represents has completely gone missing in many of our lives, because we just got to keep going all the way through because look at this person and look at this person. And I got to get this and I'm falling behind on this. It's constantly driving you to get a result and move forward. And that's where burnout comes in. And that's where depression can start to creep in. And that devilish voice of doubt and lack of faith and all of this lower frequency energy can come in when we don't allow ourselves to take time for ourselves. So that boredom feeling that could be coming up, it could be recognized as the voice of the ego. But when you can reflect back and be like, no, I work all the time. I'm constantly working and contributing. It's okay that I'm bored right now. Let that boredom come in and ask yourself why it's there. Why can't I take the day? Why can't I take half a day? Why can't I take 5 minutes? I can't go 5 minutes without needing to get up and doing something and being frustrated that I can't find something to do. Like, why can't you? That you should be able to relax and rest and recover and re-energize and recharge. And this, you shouldn't have a dialogue. Even if you do, it's okay. But I'm saying that if you can't do that, if it's something that you can't do, which is be okay with yourself, there's a reason, and the reason could be that you don't feel valuable unless you're contributing. And the answer to that would be to start doing some self-inquiry to find out why you can't find that space. And you're either going to understand that it's okay to rest and to recover no matter what, and that it's almost the most important thing if you truly want to contribute in the world in some way, that you take that time and space for yourself to be the best of yourself the second you go back out. It's a good idea to inquire within yourself and find out what story might be preventing you from doing that. The second thing that might be happening, if you have this voice of I'm bored or I don't know what to do, we're constantly searching for the next big thing to get me out of this funk. What could be happening here is, whereas in the first story, you're constantly working and can't take time for yourself. So the boredom is suggesting that maybe you do that. Maybe you look beyond the boredom and let it be okay that you have nothing to do. In this story, it's someone who maybe, I'm sure we can all relate, has been in a funk lately and hasn't been maybe doing much of anything to contribute in the way that they want to. Maybe they are really not themselves, or you're really out of it and you really just feel like there's no point and I'm not able to do what I want to do. It doesn't matter anyway, or I am not worthy of doing these things. Like, what is my contribution worth anyway? So the mind is constantly looking for something to do to save you, do this, create this, do that. And since it's too far of a jump from where you are, you're like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So what that could be suggesting, if you have this degree of boredom, is to just do the next thing that comes in. Now, this is going to require permission in a big way, because again, you're not battling anything here. You are just aware of a voice that's either telling you it's worth it or not, to do the next thing that comes in. Because really, we should never be bored. There's always essentially something to do, even if that thing to do is nothing. But you will feel the difference if you've been working really hard and the thing that's telling you to do nothing is like, slow down, be bored, it's okay. You'll feel that that's right. And if you haven't been doing anything and there's something you're supposed to be doing and you haven't done it in a really long time, and the voice is like, do that, and you're like, no, I'm going to do nothing. That feels bad. It feels off, like we're not moving forward. Sometimes it feels like you're moving forward when you're resting, because you're allowing yourself that space. And sometimes when you've been resting too long and there's something to do, it feels like you're slowing down to rest. So this voice of boredom is so valuable to analyze why you do what you do, or why you don't do what the next thing you know to do is. So if you are someone who is kind of like just feeling melancholy and you've been out of the game, you're not in the loop and you're just bored all the time, I don't know what to do. The answer doesn't exist in the big thing that your mind is telling you to jump to. It exists in the next thing that comes in that you kind of know you should do, like get up and do the laundry. For me, I had been in this funk for years. So I speak to this from my own story, and really my own story only, but I was in this funk for years. In both of them, I worked all the freaking time, all the time, achieve, blah, 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 all the time. And the second I would rest, I'd be like, you're worthless. What you better do? What did you do today? Like, you can't. And if I did nothing in a day, and like my dad or someone that I knew came up and they're like, what'd you do today? I used to make things up. True. I used to make things up that I did that day. So I couldn't let myself be like, I just chilled today. I rested today. I recovered today. I couldn't do it. I had to make something up to tell them so that I felt worthy in their eyes. That's how off my story was. And I know I work with people all over the world, and it is a thing that people do. They will make things up to tell somebody that they did today or yesterday or this week, because they don't want to tell someone like, I took a day for myself, like just to kind of recover. It's not deemed okay to do that, but it needs to be okay to do that, because we all need to be able to do that. Because then we could contribute like high levels when we are on and ready after we recover. The other part of that story, the second thing that I also had in my life, was I used to do nothing for weeks, and everyone knew it, because I was in this just absolute depressed state. I was just so sad, and I didn't feel worthy of contributing anymore at that point. This was after the whole first part of not being able to rest. That part of my life crumbled. Then I got into a state of depression because the story that used to define me, I couldn't tell that story anymore. So I didn't have that external worthiness of being an achiever, because everything I went to achieve fell apart. So now I'm sitting here and now I'm bored because I don't know what to do. I'm sitting here, I'm useless. I don't know what to do. I don't want to start over, and I just don't know. So I'm going to sit here. The answer then was to do the next thing that came to me. Once I got out of my funk and did so much inner work as to why the first part of my story fell apart, the part of me that wouldn't let me be bored, wouldn't let me be rest or recover. Once I figured out why that happened through my inner inquiry, then I started to go, okay, so what do I do now? The next thing that comes in, clean your room, Pat, clean your room. Go and call so-and-so because they've called you 10 times and you kind of want to actually call them back. Do the dishes, do this, get this done, write this down, journal a little bit, read that book that you even want to read. There is always something to do that can come in. So if you're in a funk, I just offer a suggestion is today, give yourself permission to do the next couple things that come in and put your ego, the ego at bay when it's saying like, what's that going to do? That's not going to do anything. It will do quite a bit. And when it starts to work, when the next thing to move through your boredom, if you haven't done anything in a while, starts to work, give yourself permission to let it work. Because what will happen is sometimes if you have a story that's been sad for a while and you start to do these little things that absolutely work, the little things, you're like, I feel better today. Give yourself permission to feel better after it happens, because otherwise the mind will creep in and be like, don't do it, don't keep going, because you don't have a story that says today was a good day. Go back to being bored and not knowing what to do and being frustrated. So you have to give yourself permission that when these little things start to work, that it's okay. It's okay that I got through my boredom today. It's okay that I actually had a great day today and did a couple things that seem completely meaningless to the ego that's trying to create this big result. I just had a decent day today and that's enough. That's okay. So if you can actually let one of those two things be the thing that propels you forward, whether it be resting and recovering, because you need to figure out why you don't feel worthy of that rest and recovery, so boredom is driving you forward, or whether you have been so bored from doing nothing for so long and you just don't think it's worth doing the next thing. Do that thing. I offer that to you. Do that thing. And at the end of the day, give yourself permission for that to be enough. That is what I wish for each and every single one of you. Have an amazing day, a wonderful night. Hope that helped. I'll see you next time.